in the gate. In the gate, we start with Aries. All right. So we're gonna break down all of the zodiacs by city. And then like if you're a city, um, or you know what I'm saying, uh, if you were a city, more than likely your city would be filled with these types of people. You see what I'm saying? So mine is Hood X. So, you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna start with Aries. Aries, obviously, Hollywood. Aries, obviously, typically kind of the actors of the zodiac. So a lot of people in Hollywood is already fucking Aries. You know what I'm saying? They don't really like being told what to do, but they act like they do. You know, well, not necessarily act like they do, but like they willing to act. You know what I'm saying? Like Aries is acting all the time because a lot of times Aries really don't want to be told what to do. You know what I'm saying? But they will sit there and pretend like, you know what I'm saying, they are actually enthusiastic about what you're saying when they really not, because they literally like fucking actors, born actors. You know what I'm saying? So I would suggest Aries probably get a gig in Hollywood. So I'm saying Taurus, we gonna talk about Houston, Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And then um, a friend of mine told me Houston is the finesse capital of the world. You know what I'm saying? And then, a lot of Taurus men obviously like big asses, big booties and shit like that. Like you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? So they also too you want Southern comfort, having a big plate of food, shit like this. You know what I'm saying? When you think and also the heartland, Texas is considered the heartland. So Taurus kind of ruled by the heart. You know what I'm saying? So like we want to look at the also too the Houston. I think the Houston Texans. I believe what. I believe you got a bull, you see what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying, even the Longhorns, they got a bull as their logo and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of cattle and beef and shit like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Also, too, you talk about a lot of women in Houston, they say it's thick as hell. So, you know what I'm saying? You think of Taurus women a lot of times be real curvaceous, you know what I'm saying? In a lot of areas and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely Houston is Taurus. So, I'm saying, what else we got? We got Gemini is New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? That New Jersey is kind of, you know what I'm saying, on the outskirts of New York. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, it's kind of New York, but it's not. So I'm saying, and just like mute, it's you know, it's mutable. You know what I'm saying? Gemini's a mutable sign. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of fast talking people in New Jersey. Like you think about Jersey Shore and them type of people, like you sort of fast talking, hustling ass. Like Donald, like a lot of times I use Daffy Duck as a reference to Gemini's. I really shouldn't do that. So it's like the old school Daffy Duck. We had the briefcase and shit, walk around trying to scam people and shit, but not, you know what I'm saying? Like I think of New Jersey. Like if you've ever been in New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. But then they had the good areas in New Jersey too, with people trying to get out of New York. You know what I'm saying? From the madness and like, you know, kind of live above the chaos of New York. You know what I'm saying? So you had a higher minded Geminis, you know what I'm saying, who trying to get away from the hustle and bustle and kind of look down on the situation. You got a lot of them type of Geminis too. So I'm saying also uh, uh, Gemini's got a way of oh shit. Gemini's got a way. Somebody texted me in the middle of talking, y'all, of course, as soon as I cut the video. I'm saying Gemini's got a way of I don't want to say it like this, but like a lot of people think Gemini is two faced. You know what I'm saying? So like when you kind of think of New Jersey and New York, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, twins kind of type. It's not the best example. You know what I'm saying? But somebody is non-stop fucking texting me right now. You know what I'm saying? And so what's that? We got Gemini, we got Leo. Leo, we're gonna go with Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? Leo's every Leo, you know what I'm saying, kind of got a Los Angeles personality where they kind of take things, you know, in stride. So I'm saying they do things kind of at leisure. So I'm saying people in LA, obviously Hollywood is not too far from that. So you got the fame and the, you know what I'm saying, the limelight and the paparazzi and all that type of shit, the attention, you know what I'm saying, that Leos like to get. So I'm saying a lot of that type of shit is found in LA. So I'm saying you got the warm weather all the time, you got the beaches and shit like that. Then you still got the city life, even though, you know what I'm saying, they got the beaches and all that, you still got a real big city. You know what I'm saying? Where you know, you have Leos obviously like to have a lot of friends, so like this, like you know what I'm saying, but always still be kind of in the center, you know what I'm saying, of that friendship. And whereas like LA is kind of a staple of like we think of the whole United States as a whole, but then you think about like attention, per lack of a better word, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, paparazzi and all that type of shit. You think of LA as the center of that type of energy, you know what I'm saying? You kind of think of Leo is the same way. You know what I'm saying? Virgo go to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best city you think of, but the reason is I went with Cleveland because Cleveland is voted one of the most stressful cities. You know what I'm saying, in the country. You know what I'm saying? And also has one of the highest divorce rates in the city. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And a lot of Virgo energy a lot of times is about like Will Smith saying the pursuit of happiness is more about the pursuit of being perfect, not actually being perfect, but you know what I'm saying, seeing the worst in yourself and trying to be better than that. And a Virgo, no matter how good they self see, how good they see how good they are, they always gonna kind of see themselves as not good enough. You know what I'm saying? And Cleveland is all, it kind of captures that whole essence of that. And they're like, Cleveland is a fucked up place. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in there, Cleveland is trying to get the fuck out of Cleveland. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Virgo is kind of a lot like that. Like that, they focus on what things should be instead of more so than what they are. You see what I'm saying? So next up we got Libra. Libra, we want Washington D.C. for obvious reasons. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the court shit. You know what I'm saying? And then like there's a lot of symmetrics. Like you think about the construction work and stuff like that. That's in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. So I'm saying that goes back to measurements and making sure you got all your numbers in, balance and side. I don't know if you know what side, PSI, stuff like that, like symmetrics and things like that having in place. Also too, you talking about the balance of the scales. You know what I'm saying? Obviously in DC you see the lady out there with the scales. You see what I'm saying? So also too, like in DC it's a lot of I'm gonna say it like this, but like DC got a lot of you know what I'm saying, crime, prostitution and shit like that. Like you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times Libras can find themselves in that, a lot of lower trait Libras can be attracted to that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Washington DC on the surface it looks like a great monumental city, you know what I'm saying? But when you go down there, it's a bunch of ratchet shit going on, believe it or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Libra can be like that as well. Like, they can be real beautiful when you first look at them in grants, but then you start to get them, like, they can be ratchet as hell and sometimes even downright trash. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio went with Salem, Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the witchcraft shit going there. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was used to burn witches to the stake. You know what I'm saying? And there's obviously a lot of secrecy around Salem, and they're like hiding witchcraft and like not letting people know your true intentions and your true belief systems and stuff like that. Scorpios is kind of big for that. Also, you think about Halloween being born, right in the the first second week whatever of Scorpio season. Like you saw on October 31st. So Salem, you think of Salem, Massachusetts as being like the center of like what I'm saying, the when you think of the history of Halloween and stuff like that, people typically go back to them times back when the days were like doing stuff like that in Salem. You know what I'm saying? Before Salem, you get killed. You know what I'm saying? Dressing up like the devil, you get killed. Talking about ghosts, you know what I'm saying? And all the stuff that you see on Halloween, trick or treating and stuff like that. Back in the day, that shit was considered satanic. You know what I'm saying? So you had the story like Salem, the Salem witches, and those types of stories that remind people of like we used to live in them times. And like Scorpios, you know what I'm saying, could probably identify with, you know what I'm saying, a city, a story and a city like that, you know what I'm saying, more than any other signs. Sagittarius obviously went with Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Risk, you know what I'm saying, choices, gambling. You know what I'm saying? You think about even Frank Sinatra, you know what I'm saying, he was Sagittarius. He's synonymous with Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Also too, Las Vegas have a lot of like events, live events, like pay-per-view events and shit like that. But like, Sagittarius could be in the limelight. So if you talking about like boxing, Floyd Mayweather, all them type of like big, larger than life type of events. So I'm saying that's right up at Sagittarius's playing field. And also too, I spoke a lot about Vegas, the Vega, you know what I'm saying, the planet Vega, you know what I'm saying, and how that affects people down here with the, with the fucking, like, you look at like video games and the bright colors and the, you know what I'm saying, and like the same shit you see on the cell phone, like when you play in the slots and all of the colors and the loud noises and the immediate gratification that it gives, like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of this is synopsis with the planet Vega, you see what I'm saying. Or like you look at M. Bison from Street Fighter, his original name was Vega. Like you look at, he's named after the Vega Star. And when you start doing the research on the Vega Star, you see a lot of Sagittarian type traits in that, in regards to how it plays out here on Earth with like, what's the movie? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's a great example, you know what I'm saying, to give, even though, you know what I'm saying, I don't think, you're saying the guy was actually Sagittarius, but it's a good movie to watch to understand like the mind frame of a Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying, in Las Vegas. We got Sagittarius. We got Capricorn. Capricorn, we're in New York City. You know what I'm saying? New York City, obviously. You know what I'm saying? The city of dreams. Everything in New York ain't always what it seems. You know what I'm saying? You're doing Capricorn, everything ain't always what it seems. You know what I'm saying? You think of New York, you think about people going hard, go-getters, saying the entrepreneurial spirit, saying trying to build an empire and all that shit. Like, matter of fact, you watch the show Empire, Ghost, and his Angela, you know what I'm saying, the girl he was trying to get with, they were both Capricorns. You know what I'm saying? So they fit that whole aesthetic. You think about Jay-Z and Alicia Keys when they Welcome to New York. You go listen to that song. So obviously, even though Jay-Z and a Capricorn, you know what I'm saying, the energy on that shit. So I'm from where these streets here are made of. these streets were like, you talking about like coming from the streets and building a whole empire from the streets, from the bottom up. You know what I'm saying? It's right up a Capricorn alley. You know what I'm saying? You think of the mayor too. You know what I'm saying? He is a Sagittarius, the mayor of New York. You know what I'm saying? But you know, him, his story, like my, even if you watch Ghost, was it not Empire? Did I say Empire? I meant Power. So I'm saying Power, not Empire. Did I say Empire? I meant Power. So I'm saying if you watch Power, you know what I'm saying, and you see the situation with Ghost like trying to clean himself up, you know what I'm saying, and keep the shady shit from being in the limelight. You look at the governor, like what he going through, like with sexual harassment cases and shit like this, like, you know what I'm saying, and then like kinky shit, you know what I'm saying, behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely some New York type, you know what I'm saying? Like you look at the governor of New York, you know what I'm saying, and like his scandal, that's some Capricorn type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, you know, kinky shit behind closed doors that don't nobody know about. You know what I'm saying? Like using power as a way to seduce women. It might, even though he is a sag, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of right there, but like it's that's definitely some Capricorn shit, and you try to find this shit in New York City when you think about New York City. Aquarius, remember my city, obviously Chicago. So I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, Chicago cold as hell for one. You know what I'm saying, and a lot of times Aquarius can be considered as cold as distant. So I'm saying, also too, Chicago is synonymous with a lot of savage shit. Like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times Aquarius we can be savage in our way, even at some point, to the point where it's like trashy. You know what I'm saying, and it the way you look at a lot of the ratchet shit that come out of Chicago, it just be like just trashy. Like they'll shoot the fucking postman, or they'll fucking like little babies and shit be getting shot the fuck up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking bullet come flying through fucking house and hit the wrong person type shit. Like that's like really not. It's like some Aquarius shit. Like motherfuckers think that they know, but they don't really know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Aquarius kind of know it all. You know what I'm saying? But you really don't know. It's like an encyclopedia, but like every other page is missing out the goddamn encyclopedia. That's kind of like Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? So like when you think about Chicago, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, it's a big city. It's kind of like New York, but it's like it's a lot of pages missing. Like you think about New York, you think about Chicago, you instantly can see the difference in there. Like Chicago is way more kind of trashier than New York. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that like the exact shit that's kind of missing from Chicago, but a lot of times be the exact same shit that's missing in the heart of Aquarius. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who ain't done the inner work. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker be cold as hell, just savage, ruthless. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like at the end, but at the same time, be cool. Like a lot of times, motherfuckers in Chicago be cool as hell. Like I done been all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And like people tell me all the time, like they love people from Chicago. Like, and a lot of times, people from Chicago don't know that they international people. Like we got the O'Hare International Airport right here in Chicago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can go to Chicago and literally fly anywhere in the whole world. It's actually an international city, just like New York. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't really know that. Like people don't really think of Chicago as an international city. And Aquarius is kind of the same way. Like a lot of times, people don't look at Aquarius as as somebody who's like actually, you know what I'm saying, part of, they understands the collect. They kind of look at us like a water sign. Like, you know, a lot of times people think Aquarius is actually a water sign when it's really not. And like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the same ways people view Chicago is the same way that people view Aquarius. And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, Chicago get looked over a lot of times. You know what I'm saying, Aquarius a lot of times may find themselves feeling like they being looked over a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? When you think about New York, you think about LA, like usually Chicago come third. So I'm saying, like Aquarius kind of like that. Like we don't necessarily get picked first or second. A lot of times we get picked third type shit, like the bronze medal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and a lot of times we be secure with that. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying, we don't necessarily be trying to prove too much shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people from Chicago don't claim Chicago, believe it or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you may hear like do some O Block, they claim O Block. You don't hear them claiming like Chicago. Like you know what I'm saying? Like even Kanye West don't really claim Chicago. Like his daughter named Chicago, but like you don't really hear him jumping on record saying Chicago like that. Like motherfuckers don't want you to really, a lot of times don't want you to know this from Chicago. A lot of times Aquarius be like that too. Like Aquarius opposite of Leo. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we don't want that attention like that. We don't want you to even know we Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? Because we know like how it looks like. Tell us why you from Chicago. It's like, yo, I'm from Chicago. It's like motherfucker kind of be embarrassed to say that shit. A lot of times Aquarius be kind of embarrassed to say they're Aquarius. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's literally total opposite energy of Leo. And a lot of people don't really understand that the way they should. So I'm saying, Pisces, I went with Miami. You know what I'm saying? For obvious reasons. You know what I'm saying? It's right off the coast. You know what I'm saying? Then, but like, you know what I'm saying? When you go to Miami, they got like, you know, obviously the music and it has its own culture. You know what I'm saying? And it's so like it'll rain for like 5 minutes in fucking Miami. And all of a sudden it get hot as hell again. You know what I'm saying? Then it'll rain again for like 10, 20 minutes. More people still walking around in the fucking rain. It'd still be nice as hell outside in the fucking rain. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like Pisces is kind of ruled by, you know what I'm saying, the waters and things like this, like the same type of nature, the changing of the weather with, you know, you introduce some water, whether it's drizzling or whether it's pouring fucking raining, you know what I'm saying, but it's still nice, you know what I'm saying, still beach like, you know what I'm saying, energy. Obviously a lot of beautiful women, you know what I'm saying, in Miami, you know what I'm saying, and the concept of like a lot of times men being around beautiful women and being pulled into that type of energy, like, you know what I'm saying, when you think about sirens, you see what I'm saying, a lot of Pisces women is kind of like sirens, and they're like the story, you know, the story of Odysseus with sirens, and like we kind of in that time right now, it's Pisces season, so it's like siren season, so like a lot of men is getting up trying to go chase women and shit like that. Like, you know, spring, they say like spring is in the air. So I'm saying, so like you kind of be, you know, going along your path and you see, oh, what the fuck is that? And then it's like, oh, you know, that whole energy. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of that in Miami, like thirst trapping and shit like that. Like, so I'm saying, like it's easy to thirst trap in Miami. Women walking around half naked all the time. So like you can see how a man can kind of get easily distracted into that shit. And this is like this straight up like Piscean energy. Like a lot of times Pisces women love like, you know, seducing men like sirens and shit. Like, you see what I'm saying? And also too, you think about like the fish, the sharks and shit like this, all this off the coast of Florida. You know what I'm saying? The Pisces obviously associated with fish. You sort of dolphins, all that type of shit. You want to see? You go to Miami, you might see. You actually might see all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So uh, also too, Miami is also a lot of hurricanes and like not necessarily tornadoes, but like hurricanes and tsunamis and all that type of shit. Where like shit get all the way fuck out of control. Where you need medics and like ambulances and like outside institutionalizations to come in and fix that shit up. Like you see a lot of that shit in Miami too. A lot of times you know with Pisces, a lot of times like that, they have to get institutionalized to go into like some type of treatment or rehab or some shit like that to keep the foundation, you know what I'm saying, solid. You know what I'm saying? Miami foundation constantly moving, sinkholes and saying all that shit, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely get a lot of that with Pisces too. You know what I'm saying? And, oh shit, we skipped Cancer. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how the fuck that happened. But Cancer was New Orleans. A lot of time I went with New Orleans because same shit. You got the beach, you got the water there, but like, you also got the mysticism of the. A lot of times, you know, what I'm saying, you look at witchcraft, and you look at also too like the feminine nature. Like a lot, when you think about witchcraft, not just witchcraft, but voodoo, their goddess is more matriarch. You know what I'm saying? Feminine energy, like you know what I'm saying, where it's like the matriarch. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about voodoo and shit like this. Like a lot of cancers subconsciously be practicing voodoo. They don't really necessarily know that shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Because like when you look at places like New Orleans, also like even Miami, even places like Chicago, you know what I'm saying, that's right off the coast of the water like that. You know what I'm saying? Like a crab almost, you know what I'm saying, be synopsis. When you think about even gumbo, like a lot of times they make gumbo and shit, like a lot of the seafood crabs and shit like that go into the pot. So I'm saying in those areas where it come right off the water like that and you got like a lot of black culture mixed in like that, you kind of run into like the cancer. It's like, it's really hard to explain, but like this is Kush. Like you understand the concept of Kush, like this is Kush shit. So I'm saying it's like the mother and the son relationship kind of type deal, like, you know what I'm saying, or not necessarily the mother, but like, you know, the relationship with your mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? New Orleans kind of had that effect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you think of some of the artists that come from New Orleans, like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, the relationship they have with their mom, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, their mom is like literally the first priority. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like you know what I'm saying? Like somebody say, yo, what you say about my mama? Like that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that never really outgrow that type of philosophy. It's really hard to explain. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, somebody say something about your mom, you know, what the fuck you say about my mama? Like that type of energy, the one how you want to protect your mom, all that shit come out of New Orleans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you think about too, like even when they had the flood, like Hurricane Katrina and shit like that. Katrina, you know what I'm saying? Uh Even though it's a tragedy, they united under tragedy. Like you know what I'm saying? And like a lot of times Cancer, like Pisces, you kind of want to help a Cancer. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they bring out that human element. Like you know what I'm saying? When you see all them people down there, you know, going through the flood on their rooftops and shit like this, like the houses, fourth house shit being destroyed, it kind of makes you like, man, why the fuck? Like you know these people should have left. Like Joe, why they told you a million times to get up out the city, but they still, you know, see people still gonna stay there on top of their roof. It's fourth house type shit. So like the notion of you leaving them behind or reaching out to help them, like you know what I'm saying, like Cancers kind of put you in that position. Like you know what I'm saying, you be like, damn, Joe, like didn't I tell you this was gonna happen? Like you know what I'm saying, and like nah, didn't you know what I'm saying? You ain't want to fucking listen. Nah, I gotta come and pull you out this shit. Like you know what I'm saying, that's some New Orleans, like that's some straight Cancer type shit. You know what I'm saying, and then like you know what I'm saying, a lot of people in New Orleans kind of had insisted on doing things their own way. You know what I'm saying? And also too, like, you know, Kansas, I mean, New Orleans is also a place like a lot of lovers go there too. Like it's a very romantic city. Like you talking about like Mardi Gras and shit like that. Like when women walk around getting the bees and poking their chests out. A lot of Cancer women are known for chests and shit like this. And like it could be uh, I don't want y'all to think I'm shitting on New Orleans like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's a lot. New Orleans is a great city. Like what I'm saying, if you go there and you have a good time, what I'm saying, party, you know what I'm saying, New Orleans. What I'm saying, a lot of people go there for their honeymoon and shit like this. You know what I'm saying? All synopsis with Cancerian energy, like what I'm saying. So yeah, that's why I chose New Orleans for Cancer. I don't know how the fuck they got skipped. You know what I'm saying? And oh shit, that's all of it. So yeah, that's your sign as a city. You know what I'm saying? I hope you enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? You can like, share, subscribe. If you disagree with me, I love to hear. You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear of what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? What sign is associated with what city? You know what I'm saying? Leave in the comments. I would love to hear your interpretation. You know what I'm saying? You can go through all 12 of them if you want. You don't have to choose one. I would love to hear your opinions, what you agree with, what you disagree with. All right. So on that note, I'm gonna get up out of here. Oh shit! I forgot to tell y'all. You did.